Howdy, everybody. So in this video, we'll talk about the R word, recession. you know, um, a lot of people get worked up about recession. A lot of truck drivers, they think about freight recession, and it's a bad thing. But I will tell you, having been an owner operator going on 10 years, that recessions are not necessarily all bad. There are some things about a recession that presents opportunities that you wouldn't otherwise have. So let me talk about or list a few things about recessions that present themselves as opportunities. Truck prices are down. So if you're looking to purchase a newer used truck, 400,000, maybe 300,000 miles, those prices will be down. Um, Let me give you an example. During the pandemic, during peak freight, I had to buy a truck. My old truck was at 1.2 million miles and the engine blew, and I was without a truck, so I needed to buy a truck. Truck. This is not during a freight recession. It's just the opposite. We were at peak freight. So in that scenario, truck prices were extremely high for a used truck. For a used truck. So I ended up paying over $100,000 for a used truck. And then once the pandemic ended, that same truck came all the way down in price to $60,000. So there's a $40,000 swing in truck prices. So a recession will bring you opportunities in truck prices. There'll be more trucks available. It's about supply and demand. There'll be more supply of used trucks. There'll be lower demand. Truck prices will fall. Another example of an opportunity during a recession is repair facilities. During peak freight, during the pandemic, for example, if you had to take your truck into the Freightliner, uh, they'd give you a 2 week wait time. They couldn't even diagnose or look at your truck for 2 weeks. They were so busy. Compare that to during a recession. You take your truck to a Freightliner, you may only be there for a day or two. So you're like, okay, I get it. There's less downtime, and less downtime means more uptime. More uptime means more earning potential, more miles. Um, Potentially, with a recession, you may have less freight overall, but there'll be other opportunities. And I would say that there are other things about recession. Lower diesel prices, that would be there. More truck parking, that'll be there. Um, you could look at less traffic on the road. So you think about what a recession brings to the small business owner, to the owner operator, the independent contractor. Now, the spot market guys don't like recessions. So you could tell what kind of driver, what type of owner operator they are by their viewpoint on recessions, for example. The spot market guys will get killed. There's no doubt about it. And you don't wish that upon anybody. So breaker. So I'm reading some of the comments. So the spot market guys, they have a really hard time during a recession. But typically, what they do is they'll come off the spot market and they'll lease on with a big box carrier and weather the storm. They will do contract freight until the market picks back up, and then they'll go back into the spot market. They do that all the time. And you know in an ideal world, spot market rates would be steady, but that's not reality. The reality is spot market goes up and spot market comes down. Whereas contract freight is very, very steady. It could be the most stable freight to haul that's out there because you're like I'll say with Crete, we're hauling staple products. We're hauling for Walmart. We're hauling paper products like paper towels or toilet paper or essential food items like water and groceries and beer, potato chips, things like that. Very recession proof. So the in contract freight, the miles are very, very steady, and then when a recession comes along, it remains steady. And then you get the benefits of uh, lower truck prices, less waiting time at repair facilities, lower fuel prices, repair parts come down, overall costs of things come down, more truck parking becomes available. The other thing is interest rates will come down. If when you go to buy a truck and interest rates are 10% or 12%, that's really hard. So, you want to think about, what are the opportunities that a recession brings? It brings lower interest rates. So that'll lower your truck payment. So it's not all doom and gloom when a recession occurs. I don't think anybody wants a recession, but there are opportunities there if you keep an open mind about it. So don't think that, like the media wants you to believe, or the guys in the stock market want you to believe, like trucking is terrible. It's not. It has its pros and cons, its ups and downs, and good times and slow times. But slow times present unique opportunities all to themselves. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the internet.